Thank you. Most people know I ad-lib. No, I can't do that anymore, apparently. So we're going to stick to the script, which is not what I normally do. Can everybody hear me okay? So DPW is a holding company founded in 1969 as Digital Power Corp. My fund took the company over in a transaction where we bought the controlling position from the former chairman in September of 2016 with a plan to transform the company. I had a real belief that the company had a core asset, which was this long-term power business, which it's turned out to me to be a gem. This is the regular safe harbor. I'm sure you all know it. So there's three key holdings in the company now. Coolesys Technologies. I get to use a laser pointer, by the way, so I'm like, this is crazy. Super Crypto Mining, Digital Power Lending. Back to the whole sticking to the script thing. So we're a company in transformation. We have many aspects to being a true holding company, and I think for most people, being a holding company on the New York American, but being small to micro cap causes people, we'll be honest with you, that people have concern. My friend Patrick would say people don't understand it. This is a commercial defense business. This is truly what this is. This is a crypto mining business, and this is a lending business licensed with the state of California as a California lender non-bank holding company, run by a talented Wall Street guy, ex-Wall Street guy who I've known for more than a decade, Bill Corbett, who's in the audience, Darren Mago, known him for 30 years. He ran Super Crypto, and Amos Khan was the former CEO of Digital Power Corp, who stayed on to run the largest division as of today, which is Coolesys Technologies. We operate across a lot of segments, which confuses people sometimes. But if you put an overlay of like a Safeguard Scientific with a private equity holding company, you can kind of get where I'm going with my background, activist, ran an activist hedge fund, etc. You can kind of take it to the next level as to what we're using the vehicle for, which is DPW Holdings. We've evolved from being a leader in power supplies. We make power supplies for some of the biggest companies in the world: Cisco, Scientific Atlanta, Intigen. They're just a small item. You know, when you get an order from Cisco, and let's call it $400,000, it doesn't show up on the radar for most people, but we develop advanced technology and put these in their power supplies. To give you some perspective, a large company that made makes a game console today that's used widely around the world, we won a contract at one time to make their power supplies. But when they found out how small we were relative to the size of our customers, they said we were too small, right? So we're endeavoring to build the balance sheet. And what happens with the company when we do this is it allows us to get bigger and bigger orders, which is going to come up and be an important part of this conversation. We acquire businesses in defense, telecom, medical, crypto mining, hospitality, textiles, and lending. In our mantra, I share every day with everybody at the company. We acquire undervalued assets, disruptive technologies with a global impact. Everything we do has an impact. This is our present org chart, DPW Holdings, with me as the chairman and CEO, and Will Horn, one of my most trusted allies, known of a long time, a very talented guy, a former Pricewaterhouse guy, as the CFO. Coolesys Technologies, 100% owned. Crypto mining, 100% owned. Digital power lending, 100% owned. And then a recent addition to IM. Now, there's an important distinction at the bottom. The way that Billy and I structured this deal, that's Billy Corbett in the front row. We go down to 51% ownership if the current management, the talented people that run it, pay back our loan. Billy, you've lent them what, $1.7 million? Billy invested $1.7 million in the company. We got a 98% stake, and they're allowed to accrete back their ownership to 49.51 as long as that 1.7 gets paid back. These guys have opened 4 locations of an existing prep kitchen. We love the hospitality business. If any of you, most of you who've known me, know I made money in hospitality with Jack in the Box, Taco Cabana, and up until recently, until my diet, don't miss many meals. So love hospitality. We own 100% of a partnership for a Tribeca Hotel, which is under construction now. You can go to our website. You can watch a live broadcast 24/7 of this under construction. This is a 96-key room, 5-star hotel with, we'll announce later on, one of the top brands in the world will run the hotel. This is with a very famous development family in New York, Caspi Development, and the McTaggart family out of Scotland. Very talented. We have 100% of this portion of the partnership. We'll end up, if everything works out accordingly, we'll end up with 28% ownership of that hotel, which we expect to own in our portfolio for the next, as long as they'll let us. We have a 100-year ground lease. MTX International, we have an 83% position in that. That is a textile company in England that makes a gas plasma laser machine, which we'll get to in a second. To me, this is the only unicorn I've ever owned. There's about 100,000 textile plants around the world. All of them will need a machine. This is the most amazing thing I've ever owned. WSI traded on the NASDAQ. We have a 9% position. We are a 13D filer. We own 4.5% of Sandstone Diagnostics in the biotech space. Sales last quarter were $5.196 million, up 219% over last year at the same time. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. The most important thing here for us is that we're building a balance sheet. The balance sheet's increased to $38 million as of March 31. I can tell you that number will be higher. We've already told people publicly, look for that number to be approaching $50 million. That's not new news for anyone watching. So we've already disclosed that in the last call. Our mining operations, now, nothing matters more than 2 things in mining. What kind of miner you use and what's the power cost. And we've experienced, situations that were nightmare situations in terms of installation, heat coming off of S9s. We've got this under control. We have a nice mining operation in Indiana. We have a great power solution there, and we are now accelerating here. We'll do 876,000 for this quarter of Bitcoin, and this is the Bitcoin side of it is the most fascinating thing we're doing with power. We were a former power company only. It was a natural transition for us to provide power, and it's working incredibly well. We're very pleased with it. It's hard to see this, but this is the asset growth we have in terms of our balance sheet. This is a mixture of our balance sheet in terms of what's intangible, tangible, etc. I'll leave that for you to read, but we're very happy with the underlying businesses we own. All of our businesses produce revenue. All of them have sales. All of them have a separate CEO. And the average life of Incoolisys, the average life of the business has been around more than 50 years. So some of the legacy commercial defense businesses like Enertech has been around 26 years. This is the anticipated revenue side. We have at Incoolisys, we have a $68 million backlog. We just acquired Enertech, which adds $10 million in terms of annual revenue approximately. We're doing approximately $500,000 a month in Bitcoin mining. This number fluctuates 10 to 15% based on 2 things. One, the price of Bitcoin, the price of Litecoin. We shape shift to Ethereum. And the other issue here is that we continually install new miners, so this number continues to accelerate. We're not going to give guidance at this time, but we do believe we'll have 10,000 miners by year end. That will happen. Here, on the microlending side, we are developing an online platform. We've talked about this, and we have a kiosk program which we're rolling out to, which we talked about before. The investment segments of where we put the money last quarter, we invested $9 million in the textile business, and the rest, 75% of that money went to buy additional miners. If you read this deck, you can get a breakdown of our debt funding and where we put that money. This is the most important slide to me. So if we told everybody we'd end the year at 44 to 49 million in annual sales, this confuses people, right? What's your run rate at the end of the year? Well, if your run rate, if you were at 12.5 million in one quarter, your run rate would be 50 million. So We want to compound that number with organic growth and acquisitions at 25 to 35% a year for 10 years. That's our goal. So Alex is in the audience. Alex, you can take 35 compounded growth times 50 million over 10 years and come up with a number. Everybody else can too. I'm not allowed to give the number, but I would encourage you to add that up. This is our target. I'm going to be compensated based on reaching these targets. Net income growth of 5% a year. We want to be unrestricted free cash flow in 2019. This is the most important part of what we're doing and why we're building the holding company, why we're building the balance sheet. But we're nimble. That doesn't mean we won't sell something, but that's the big part. Coolesys, we formed it in August of 2017. It was a conglomerate of all the things we existingly owned. We bought Microphase, a leader in advanced radio frequency, where we make filters for the RF-35 and the F-16, and other advanced fighter jets for the Air Force. We bought Power Plus Technology Group. They're a power solutions sales group. They've added a couple million in sales. We like that. And we just closed on Enertech. It's the first foreign acquisition we've done in 20 years. Enertech was part of another public company. They make advanced commercial defense systems. Now, why did we want this company? They have engineers. They're in Israel. There's 60 of them. They're helping across the whole Coolesys platform. We're very pleased with this. Developing crypto power supplies, we've already made them. We've already been selling them. We're developing more advanced ones. Developing a cryptocurrency ASICs miner with a major chip manufacturer. Major. Increasing U.S. capabilities for missile defense systems. Major. I can't say anything more. I feel like I should just stay here for a while. Major. You know, it's going to be major. We organized Super Crypto in January 2018. We're presently on pace about 500,000 a month for about 6 million a year of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. That'll accelerate as we get to 10,000 machines. That number will get much bigger over time. It's becoming easier to finance our future growth with Bitcoin as more people accept Bitcoin. We're really enjoying that part of it. This is a sister company to Coolesys, and so if we were to have our own miner in development with an ASICs miner jointly with Coolesys, a major chip manufacturer. This is a big deal for us. We think this is going to be important. And we did a round of cloud mining. I'm not a big fan of cloud mining, but we let the companies be independent the way they run the company, and the CEO and the team believes that cloud mining will be a major part of what they do in the future. This is my man Billy Corbett. He's generated 19 million in loans for the first quarter. A lot of them syndicated. A lot of them put together with other deals. So he's a really Wall Street to Main Street guy, right? That's the best definition of it, Billy. Billy's connected. I think Billy's 1 degree separated from it. It's not 1 degree or 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's 1 degree of Billy Corbett. The deal flow this guy sees is ridiculous. It's truly one of the parts that this is the one company in the whole portfolio that I'm not going to sell ever. I'm not going to sell it. He did this deal with IM. Those guys are great guys. The people that run it are super talented. Cheesecake, what's the nightclub in Vegas? Pure. Great operators. Dave Krause and his wife Deb Krause. They run that business. The unique thing about running a holding company is they just send us a quarterly report and wire us a check every quarter. And we own a big chunk of it, and we love owning them. I hate to sound like a little Warren Buffett-ish, but they're great people to be in business with, just like Billy's a great person to be in business with. All the CEOs of the companies, I love them personally. I consider them personal friends, and they're all working hard to build the enterprise. I think the thing that Billy would say he's the most excited about is his kiosk network that he's rolling out. There'll be more about this in the future. This kiosk network will allow for a lot of amazing transactions to take place, the purchase of crypto, the paying of bills, and we've talked about that in the last quarter, and this is something that Billy is working on pretty hard. How much time do I have? Oh, great. We have 83% beneficial ownership of this company. We got a $50 million purchase order to make machines for them that's being made under the Coolassist brand. These machines are made in Alba, Italy. So effectively you can treat textiles for waterproofing, hydrophobicity, fire retardancy, antimicrobial, and dyeability. This is truly the most fascinating green technology I've ever owned. Developed over a 10-year period, in production now, installed. I always get this part wrong, so let me try to be clear on it. There are 4 machines, 3 already made, but Coolassist is on machine number 1 and 2 for them, but it's machine 4 and 5 for MTIX. I got that right, Gary? Yeah, okay. They will need to make thousands of machines over the next 20 years. These machines are provided to the textile manufacturer, and they pay us a per meter charge. And it's digital. So just imagine that I'll just pick out one industry. The car industry, the U.S. car manufacturers do 496 million meters a year of fabric in all their cars. All of them require fire retardancy. I don't need to go any further. This is my favorite thing we own in the whole world. It reduces water by 75%, greenhouse gases by 90%, and chemical use by 94.8%. In some cases, it reduces chemical use 100%. We own this company. We said already we expect them to uplist to the NASDAQ. We are its largest shareholder, and we are its largest investor. Prep Kitchen, we already talked about. Dave Kraus. There's 4 locations: Del Mar, La Jolla, Little Italy, Santa Marcos. We gave them a revolver credit of $1.7 million. That should be higher. They got a new chef out of the Wynn and Nobu. Just got Restaurant of the Year in San Diego. For those of you who know me, we've sold hospitality businesses before, but in this case, we're an owner with Deb and Dave, and we're not a seller. We have a new acquisition strategy. We're continuing to put companies in this category: crypto mining, hospitality, commercial defense. We are digesting a little more. For those of you who are watching from home, we kind of admit that the balance sheet's 10 times bigger than it was last year. We are trying to digest and get the synergies out of the companies. So the acquisitions will be larger, and they'll be more substantive on a cash basis in terms of EBITDA. So we are being a little bit more selective than we have been with some of the companies we put together. Initiatives for 2018: integrate Enertech, develop supplies for crypto defense, aerospace and industrial, on track to roll out 10,000 miners by December 31st, 2018. Cloud mining offering. I don't know that there's not a day that goes by with someone asking me to spin out Super Crypto, to IPO Super Crypto. We launched the Test the Waters campaign. We're considering all of our options in crypto. We don't know what we're going to do there yet. And then we're focused on the microloan program and rolling out Billy's kiosks for the year. There's a nice slide that can give you kind of a summary of everything I talked about here. We're leveraging the success for 2017, continue to reinforce the balance sheet through acquisitions, utilizing funding sources prudently. Our borrowing costs were ridiculous last year and earlier this year. Those are coming down dramatically. It'll far less interest cost over time. I think I've summarized all these things about the miners. And I would say that that's the presentation. Thank you. Have any questions? Yes.
I don't understand the power source. Is it a generator? Is it a dam? I just don't understand.
Okay, so the power source relative to miners or relative to something else?
Well, let's talk about the miners.
Okay, so every single miner has to have a certain wattage power supply. The more efficient you can make them, the less power it takes to run them, the more efficient you are in terms of making Bitcoin. right? And so we make one now that we sell, and we make one in the future that we believe will roll out later this year that is just more efficient from a drop-off and total wattage. So every single miner you see requires its own power supply. Does that answer your question? Yeah. So it's no different than the power supply for this computer. You know, you're going to plug it in, you're going to plug it in the wall. These you can't quite plug into the wall because they'll blow the wall socket. You know, they're just more powerful, right? 1,580 amps, 1,800 amps, etc. In the mining space, how efficient is the chip? What nanometer are you running? And what's the cost to power that? That's all that matters, right? Because as the reward gets more difficult in mining, 2020, the mining reward will go down by half. As the reward gets more difficult, you're going to need more efficient miners. Anybody else? Blair.
What is the backlog? What over 3 reasons, but for the textile machines?
So we don't report the backlog for the textile machines on the MTIX side, but yeah, I know where you're going with this. This is off script. I can't give you that backlog. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I'm not getting caught today. I'm not getting caught today. The MTIX board and the MTIX CEO, we're just a shareholder. They'll report their backlog. But I did say to you before, there are 50,000 textile. This has been disclosed. There's 50,000 textiles manufacturers in China. There's 50,000 ex-China. All of them use this process. And I can say, let me just give a better scenario. 90% of them use this process. It's been publicly disclosed that this process works on leather. You can go to the MTIX International website and watch the testing for fire retardancy for how it's used on leather. To me, this is the hidden gem. I don't know why people don't own more AVLP. Maybe they just don't like me. Who knows? I don't know why they don't get this story, but I continue to buy the stock. In the last quarter, I bought $250,000 worth of 70 cents. I have the right to continue to buy more, and I will continue to invest. Yeah.
What's the cost per unit?
Of the textile machines, over $2 million. I've been told to stop. Neil.
Is there a registration on active?
We have a $100 million shelf and a $50 million ATM.
Okay. You obviously use the stock to make acquisitions.
I use it to make acquisitions only. I get this question every single day. We're very prudent. It's not, we're not really excited about where the stock price is, but I can't comment.
Question B. I have a stake. If I had a hat, I'd take it off to you, buddy. But I know you well enough. You have a hell of a time sticking to the strip. You did a great job.
Thank you, buddy.
That being said, if I were a PM and I'm allocating assets Monday morning, where do you fall into? I mean, is there a category? I mean, I remember, LTV? Remember
Yeah.
Lane?
Yep, for sure. Well, it's a Teledyne model.
Western was a big diversified company.
Well, I'm a student of Teledyne. It's a Teledyne model, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah, I believe in command and control at the holding company, hiring the right people to run the businesses, and allocating capital. And I've done 18 deals in my life. 3 of them sucked. People remember the 3 that sucked. They don't remember the 15 that did really well. And so it is what it is. But, you're betting a little bit on my decision making. I think that's tough for people sometimes. But if you look at the talent I surround myself, the people I bring in, like Billy Corbett, Jim, I have a lot of good people with me. Very people that are loyal, like Gary's been with me for 10, 11 years. So Patrick, who I've known since I was married. I try to surround myself with smarter people. And it is a tough thing for a PM to look at. I think that once we have a liquidity event where something is spun off or IPO'd or we have a major landing, then people will get the story a little better. But I understand the difficulty. Patrick tells me every week. There's one from Zacks. I don't know if they're independent. We pay them $20,000 a year. I have heard rumors that there's a bank is going to pick us up, but to my knowledge, no one covers us independently.
is there a synergy between the different units? Does one hand wash the other, or are they really independent?
There's a big synergy between crypto and Cooliss's technologies. There's zero synergy between the hospitality, except for Billy lending them money. They want to expand to 35 stores. We're providing them capital. There's some synergy there. Not much that I can see other than that. Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about, crypto.
I would suggest that conversation take place between Billy Corbett, the CEO, and yourself afterwards. That's a big business rollout for us, and we got to be careful with what we say there. So I appreciate everyone's time. She's telling me to shut up. I'll see you.